Hello everybody, this is Metalphase doing another cast. This time we're in Orsha North. We have Shaun playing as the 3rd Guards Mechanized, and Gnef as the 28th Jaegers. Gnef is going to be playing on Vanguard income, and Shaun playing as usual on Balanced income. And this is going to be a really interesting battle because apparently from the feedback there was one guy who's saying that it was a really amazing game and really interesting. I'm really interested to see the outcome of this game, especially because this is a really unorthodox matchup between two decent, I guess, divisions. The 28th Jaeger is definitely not the strongest German division. The 3rd Mechanized is probably a tier above it. Just because it has so much MCHS spam, and everything else is pretty decent. Decent infantry. It has the partisanis. In fact, let's look at Shaun's deck to start off with the deck builds for both players. Alright, so we're going to be looking at Shaun's deck first. And straight up, we're going to see no other tank besides the Sherman at 2 vet for the entirety of the tank tab. We have 6 2 vet Shermans in phase A, and then we have 12 in phase B, and then we have 27 in phase C. The only other tank that we see here is the T-34 Razvedka, and that's just for, I guess that would be just like for really mobile. If Shaun is interested in being very mobile with his Shermans, he needs something with recon to scout things ahead of it. So I guess that would be what the T-3476 is for. But otherwise, the main focus of his deck seems to be the 2-vetted Sherman. For the infantry tab, or actually even first, we have the Razvedka in A, and we also have the Dozor in the M3A1 scout car. So we're going to have a little bit of light vehicle play with the Dozor, and for anything that can't be penetrated by the Amcha or the T-3476, if Shaun gets close enough, the Razvedka will take it out. And just in case it happens again, he has them in B. And these are really excellent squads, and I really wish that these were the Oznazes for the 9th Cav and not a recon specific unit. But that's just a gripe. We don't see any partisan DP, which I think they're really good squads, especially for 15 points. But the Partisani do have the Molotov cocktails, and by themselves, they're already like amazing anti-infantry units just from the Molotov cocktail. It doesn't even matter that they don't have any LMG, or that they only have bolt action rifles. The fact that they have 4 of these Molotov cocktails means that they'll be pinning down units so fast in a close quarters situation. And with 12 of them, you can't really go wrong. And covering them, we'll have the Guards DP squad and the Sapiri. So really, the Sapiri, Partisani, and the Tenko Desadniki are all going to be really scary close quarters units for the 28th Jaegers. For B and C, we're just going to see Gvardia and Sapiris, as well as a B phase Kamrati card. Interestingly, he's not taking them in A, but taking them in B, and the artillery leader in phase A, which is usually the opposite that you see. But it seems like well, actually, I don't know really. I guess he really wants the availability of the commander, the leaders for the infantry specific leader. And then for A, I guess he'll be using them to set up maybe the corrected shot area of effect for his B phase artillery. Could be. But otherwise, nothing too much to say about the rest of his deck. He has the Ogmachiki MG42s. Um, he has a combination of the 45mm and the 57mm, just in case. One for ambushing, one for getting rid of things that are heavier than a light vehicle. Um, Pretty standard anti-air. Not a lot of fighter units or fighter planes, and instead he's using a lot of IL-4s, which is basically going to be deleting stacks of units if he uses them very effectively. And of course, Shaun is going to be playing on balanced income. So that is Shaun's deck. All right, and now we're going to be looking at Gnef's deck, which is a Vanguard income Jager deck. And really interesting, I have never seen the KFZ for recon car used before. He has them at 2 vet, and he gets 5 of them. And I'm wondering if he's going to be using them as anti-air, as well as as well as being a recon unit. I believe it also doubles as an anti-air unit or anti-air anti-air unit. I remember hearing that the Polish Armia or the AK deck had those Fiat trucks with the Browning machine guns or something like that, and that with double vet and triple vet, they were basically OP. And I wonder if Gnef has realized that maybe that this offers the same threat. I'd really like to see how this unit performs, because I've never seen it before, and I'm so happy to be able to see it because it's such a cool unit, even if it's unarmored. The fact that it has those 2 MG42s and the spider sight, I really wish units like these had more of a place in this game. We're going to see a sharpshoots and another sharpshoots in B, and then a Jaeger Fusilier. They do have, well, I don't know, why is he taking them in A? I'm not sure, because it seems like he has quite a good number of units already in A. Let's see, we have the Ersatztruppen, the Jaeger Pioneer with 8 G43s, and then the Sturmjäger, which is the real threat of the Jaeger infantry tab. In Phase B, we have the very mediocre Jaegers, more Pioneers and Sturmjägers, and then finally a C-face card of Sturmjägers. So really being light on the Jaegers, because you don't want to take... You get 3 of them, but you really don't want this... You don't want a squad with this loadout making up the bulk of your forces. So, pretty self-explanatory. Tank tab, nothing very complicated. He is only taking 2 cards, so I guess he's going to be getting most of his infantry support from these IG-18s and the SIG-33. And I did not realize you can get 6 of them in B phase. That's amazing. Another unit I'm really hoping to see a lot of, because it's not seen very much, or at least it wasn't in the previous patch, because the IG-18s were already so good already, and for cheaper. But now that the availability has been nerfed, the SIG-33 could potentially step up and be the main infantry support, plus anti-tank, potentially with the heat rounds. Another point of interest, the Jaeger PZ or PZB 39. They have pretty, well, it's kind of, I forget what the penetration for the PTRD is, but I'm gonna guess it's somewhat similar. So looks like, wow, for only 5 points. Unfortunately, the BMWs are not very fast. Oh, were there 95? Okay, never mind. I believe it was the Kenigrad that's the worst one. Yeah, the 70. So the good thing is that he's taking them in the BMWs. Fine. Looks like he's going to try to attempt sniping some Ziz trucks at the beginning of the game. Finally, we have a pretty lackluster anti-air tab, but but he's going to probably make up for it for 2 recon Fuck Wolves, plus another 2, plus another really upvetted A8 variant. And then we're going to have the HS129s, the B2 and the B3, one with the 50, one with the 75 millimeter. And finally, a B-phase card of Fuck-Evolve 190s. Oops, I deleted that. I forget what it was, but it doesn't really matter. I think it was a B-phase. Yeah. Pretty interesting. It seems like Gnef is really experimenting a lot with this deck, seeing if the extra agility of the Fuck-Evolve really makes a difference between the 2 cards, both in A-phase. And finally, we have the artillery tab, which I think is the hidden gem of the 20th Jaegers, because you have these 45-point light artillery, which are a lot better than their. I mean, yeah, it has 4 damage, and you get 50 shells. It's ridiculous. You do have to bring them out close for them to get some good accurate hits, but still, you can get them you can get a lot of them with high vet and get like a 30% accuracy. But Gnef is actually going to be taking the 105 millimeter version, but it's essentially the same deal. It's a really cheap unit. You get lots of ammunition for it. You get this one has a better damage. I'm gonna guess better blast. Yeah, better suppress, and has better accuracy. All around better. Except for the rate of fire, but it's a humongous round compared to his 75 millimeter round. So very cool. And then he's going to have an off map 172.5 millimeters and a leader, and the main 150 millimeter artillery, and another off map, this time 210 millimeters. That's about it, and we'll start with the game. And we are back. So let's go lane by lane at each of the players' deployments. We have 5 ultimate cheekies plus a 45 millimeter cannon. The cannon going into the forest here. The two of the ultimate cheekies in the city here, and 2 in the forests. We have 2 Tanko Designikis going back and on the southern flank, and we have a Partizani and a Partizani MG, 1 going into the building here, and 1 being deployed to the back of the small village or campus. I don't really know what these buildings really function or what their function is, but it seems like we're going to have Shaun deploying some support units on this southern side, which I've never really seen. I usually see them deployed here where they're in direct confrontation with the units placed on the ridge here. But perhaps he's trying to avoid that frontal engagement, especially as he doesn't have any support guns. He has support MGs, but not any guns. So interesting deployment from Shaun, at least in terms of the support weaponry. For Gnef, we have 2 anti-tank rifle squads, an IG-18 and a Pioneer Fuhrer, 2 Ersatztruppen, another 1 Ersatztruppen, a Pak 50 millimeter, a Sturmjäger, and another Sturmjäger. The anti-tank rifles will be deployed not really far from the front line, probably unloading to pick off any transports that are deployed very far forward from the front line. This one, I'm guessing he's going to try to work his way through the forest and try to get some shots onto whatever forces try to reinforce here, at least in the long term. As for the IG-18 and the Pioneer Fuhrer, both unloading at the same place with view of the city here. Very interesting. I've never thought of deploying an IG-18 on this ridge, but yeah, as soon as you get onto this ridge here, you have perfect line of sight, at least as much as you need to to engage into the city there. And finally, we have the Pack 38 being unloaded to have sightline of the road, and the rest of the troops all kind of deploying in the same area here. Further north, we have quite a lot. We have 4 of the anti-tank rifle squads. We have a Pack 38, a sharpshoots, 2 IG-18s, a couple of Einsatztruppen, 3 of them, I believe, and 2 Jager Flammenwerfer squads. So looking at the deployment of the motorcycle squads, we have the sharpshoots going into the campus there. The Flammenwerfers both going into the bottom, or these 2 red flags here, and the rest of the anti-tank rifle squads going to be deployed on each of these kind of road branches, or at least each end of the road branches, or what do you call these? I forget what. Crossroad, there we go. Each of the crossroads to pick off any incoming transports. So good on Gnef for trying to bring that strategy to the Axis side. The IG teens, 1 on the ridge, 1 on the forest, both going to have very great lines of sight there. And finally, we have the Pack 38 being deployed on the ridge here, and the rest of the Einsatztruppen also going to be deployed at that campus there. Really heavy deployment into the middle, or at least into this small campus from Gnef. On the other side, not so much from Shaun. We have 4 Ognamachikis going to be deployed defensively in the town and the farm here, and a Guard DP rifle squad being deployed in the small forest here. And we have the first of the KFZ or KFZ4. I really like that Gnef is taking the chance on these. And we see a Jager Flammenwerfer, a Jager Pioneer, and a Sharpshoots all deployed in the city here. Really fast units, as he probably really wants to get there as quick as possible to deter what might be coming ahead of him. We have a 37mm flak gun, or rather Zenart, an Oms bomb commander, and a Guard TP rifle squad. The Guard TP rifle squad going to be unloading really far forward. It's almost like he's trying to deploy them at like the PTRS squad, hoping to get whatever comes in front of him. But these are much faster transports, so I don't think Shaun's going to have much luck there. And to the north for Shaun, we have 2 Tanko Desetnikis, a Guard DP rifle squad, 2 VZ-VOD leaders, and a Partizani squad. The VZ-VODs will be split between the 1 in the forest, the 1 on the campus here. I see campus a lot, but this is kind of what they are. They're literally campuses for the Soviet workers to work in, I believe. We have 2 Tanko Desetniki squads being deployed to the southern forest. So he's going to be using the leader to buff these up to 3 vet, including the half tracks at 3 vet. So very dangerous force for Shaun. The Guard TP rifle up north, and the same for the VZ-VOD. No anti-tank here, but he doesn't seem to need it because we have no light or heavy vehicles from Gnef here. We have a Jager Pioneer, another anti-tank rifle squad, a Jager Pioneer, 2 of them, a Flammenwerfer, another Flammenwerfer, and 2 Einsatztruppen, all deployed within the forests. I believe the anti-tank rifle squad being deployed further up front, and let's see, one of the Einsatztruppen, I believe, or the Jager Pioneers. It's an Einsatztruppen going to the south here, so everything else going to the top, whereas an anti-tank rifle squad and an Einsatztruppen are holding that small forest. That's about it for the deployments, and let's go on with the game. So let's speed things up, straight to the action. And we'll be paying attention to the middle, as that looks to be the most, where most of the action is going to be coming from. And we actually see some of the Ogmichiki divert themselves further ahead. Well, actually, let's actually go to the interesting part. Two Ogmichikis are going to get engaged by both the Pac-38 and the Jager PZB, but they don't manage to get any kills, and the Flammenwerfer squads are in a stare down. And if Gnef is lucky, he could get this early point advantage. Oh, but the IJ-18 suppresses both of these squads, and as a result takes down his own from the surrender, and these anti-tank rifle squads are not going to hold the front line. To the south, the Ognichiki go down. To the north, nothing going on here, but Gnef is going to push up into the forest to carve out as much ground as he can on that flank. Meanwhile, the Guard DP rifles are going to get caught out in the open as the AG-18 finds their shot, and this is a very dead Russian squad. Ouch. Some incoming reinforcements from Gnef, who's probably going to make a run for this, or make a push for the remainder of the forest to the north of the southern flank. Although only with Ersatztruppen, but he does have a commandant, and this will provide the Ersatztruppen with 2 vet, although we'll see how this works out, because these are not gonna, he doesn't have any Felgen armory units to really force them to fight without retreating. To the center, we have an Ersatztruppen soloing a Guardia DP. This should go the guard DP rifles way here. Without the numbers advantage, these Ersatztruppen are not going to force out the guard DP rifle squads. We're going to have an engagement between the Focke-Wulf 190, and it's going to critical the Lag 3. But it's not going to get the kill. He could have gotten the early kill there. Not sure. Oh well, he was. Looks like he was getting engaged by the 37mm. Good call there. What else is going on? Yeah, I'm not really sure if I'm liking the placement of the 45mm gun here, as a lot of units are making it past its cone of sight. So this Jager Pioneer squad was able to unload. If it was here, as well as the MG42, I don't know. These infantry units wouldn't be able to storm the open ground so easily. And in its place, he's gonna have to use these MCHAs as the fire support that it's missing from this flank, or from this middle flank here. Or it's not a flank; it's a middle side, I guess. These guard rifle squads are actually going to go down to the Ersatztruppen, so never mind about that. Is Shaun going to push up with one of these squads? Yes, he's going to move up with his partisanis, and this should, with the 4 Molotovs, at least that should make the fight even. I believe that was an artillery off-map airplane shot down by the Lag 3. Shaun doesn't have a lot of those Lag 3s, so he has to be really careful. He did go down to the Flak 43, it seems like. And it looks like the KFC did go down, unfortunately. That's really sad, because I cannot find it anymore. To the south, we have a couple of Tenko Desetnikis repelling off an advance from a couple of Sturmjägers and Ersatztruppen, but they don't have the range to contend with the SDG-44s, and they need to retreat to the forests where they can engage at their maximum range at 100 meters. Here comes one of the pushes from Gnef, but these Ursatschuppen are going to be a little bit inconsequential in the grand scheme of things, as they're not going to be able to push up ahead of them, really, and they don't have the weapon loadouts to engage from far away. So this is probably just like, well, this can only be really temporary for the time being before Gnef can really bring up something heavier, some heavier units. But the MG42 could go down already, and Shaun micros it away from the engagement, so he preserves the support gun there. Half-tracks are getting side-shotted by the Pak-38. One is going to go down very soon, but another one goes down almost. The loader gets killed. Surely this M2A1 is going to go down. It's getting very lucky with the lack of hits there, but down goes one of the M2A1s. And an HS-129, didn't see where it engaged, but it is pulled back. Not much going on to the top there. The Partizani, as expected, gets rid of the Ursatschuppen little nest there. And Shaun bringing in, he doesn't really have an answer for the open ground here. He really only has the MCHA to really combat whatever's in place here. And with the Pak-38, it's going to be a little bit difficult to engage safely at the very least. I guess that's the problem of bringing in only those 76mm artillery pieces in B. And we see the IG-18 from the flank firing into the city here, and really great positioning there. And an MCHA goes down from the Pak-38 to the north, as the HS-129 was hoping for an easy kill there additionally, but it gets stolen by the Pak-38. And the front line really being held by two really low HP squads for Gnef. 14-10 advantage for Gnef. We haven't seen anything happen really to the top here, and Shaun really needs to make use of his Amsbahn here. He has the leader support here to really make a good push against anything that comes up in the northern flank, and he hasn't really done anything just yet. And I really liked him to take advantage of the fact that he has so much he has such a good availability, or he has so much veterancy that he could give to any of the units in the vicinity to really propel his advance to really solidify his position here. But all of his attention going to the south here, and it's kind of expected, as he is losing a lot of points here, and he's lost a lot of units trying to reinforce the points that he still does have, at least in terms of the city here, as I believe another Partizani squad went down in the middle here. Gnef making really great use of the artillery guns here, although they're not shelling anything substantial in this area, potentially the Akimichiki, but they're not targeting the unfortunately he can't see where these are, but he's still getting some good hits there. It looks like we finally have an engagement to the north, as Gnef is pushing all of his elite troops into the northern flank. And even with so much FET, these guard DP rifle squads are out in the open, and the Partizanis don't have the long-range weaponry, or even the medium-range weaponry to contend with the SSDG-44s He is going to bring his M2A1 half-tracks to slow down this German advance before it reaches too far forward. And Gnef is hopefully going to respond with his anti-tank rifle squad, but the HS-129 takes out one of them and pulls back, perhaps in anticipation of the Lag 3 and the Zenart gun. He could have gotten 2 kills in one if he had chained his attack moves one after another, but still he gets the 1 kill and he can pick up another one with the Jager PZB. Gnef is really building up his forces, and really, even with the Ursatztrupp and the fact that he has so many units, it still counts for something, as even for fodder, these Ursatztruppen can provide enough of a fighting force to gain an advantage against whatever Soviet forces are here. And a couple more KVZ trucks here. I'm not sure what they're doing. Kind of on a suicide mission here. Yeah, really. Why is he sending them there? We have the anti-tank rifle squad going to pick off this M32A1, but the penetration on these are 25 millimeters. The armor for the M2A1, I believe, is like 20 meters. So it might even be a tough kill, even for the rifle squad, but they managed to pick up the kill. And we have 3 2-star superior squads engaging the German forces here, and they really could do a lot of damage here, although one wastes TNTs onto a dead squad there. This could be very decisive, although we have pioneers on the German side as well, both of them actually. And we have a Fleming versus Werfer squad to delay the throw of the TNT from the Russians. And if it were not for the VZ bot here, those would have been surrendered very easily. Incoming Guardia trying to engage again, but the Jager Pioneers still have their TNT charges, and these Guardias are really clumped up together. 2 of them get the same suppression on both of them from 1 TNT hit. And Shaun doesn't have the close range infantry for this fight, unfortunately. And the HS-129 going against the Lag 3, really funny. There goes, I believe that's the last of the Lag 3s for Shaun, so that could be very bad for his air coverage there. To the south, it seems like Shaun is trying to start some kind of encirclement to the southern flank, moving up his Tanfadisniki against the Sturmjägers, but they didn't have very much HP to begin with, and certainly they were not going to win that game or that engagement, especially without any Molotovs. Gnef also really using, again, those artillery strikes, and it seems like he's making good use of them against the incoming forces here, as all of them are pinned down and or falling back. And again, Shaun is having to reach into his bank of infantry squads, and he's at an 16, or rather he has 8 flags, or what is it? I believe it's 12-12 is the 12-12 is the 50, so 50-50. So he's only missing 4 flags. So these 2 flags here or the 2 flags here, whichever way you look at it, he has to pick up somehow. His best bet seems to be the city here, as nothing has really been able to reinforce it lately. And the flanks are open to all types of reinforcements. So I would try to go for this southern part here. Fortunately, Shaun doesn't have any artillery running up that can put down some smoke and shield away the fire onto the city here. And in fact, I haven't seen a lot of Enchas, just because they're being picked off by those HS-129s very expertly by Gnef. And the IJ-18 really going to put a lot of hurt onto these Russian units here. If they're not gonna, they're going to be clumped up. 3 of them are pinned down. That's certainly going to delay the advance from the Russians. Here comes an MCHA. There are no AT weaponry that can possibly engage the MCHA without moving his Pak-38 from its initial deployment. But we're going to see a 210mm off-map to the south. To the north, Gnef does move in his Jager Pioneers, but they're going to get caught out by a humongous amount of superior squads. A really great strike from the 105mm cannons, but these Sturmjägers are not going to make it out. Ooh. Oh my god, another great strike from the artillery there. That must be like, that looks like to be, that has to be at least like 300, 400 points of units there. Nevertheless, Gnef still has that advantage in flags here, though he is a little bit thin on the north, as he has been the most aggressive there. To the south, the artillery strike off map looks like it's going to get rid of the small pocket of infantry here, potentially, as Gnef places another one in the theoretical retreat path of the remaining units here, but these are going to be staying put. The HS-129 just kind of buzzing around, looking for things to kill. And we have some Superiors coming in to reinforce the southern flank, as these heroic Soviet troops are going to delay the Germans long enough for the front line to be maintained for now. But Shaun is struggling to gain the 12-12 right now. Even with the 20-point advantage for right now. Wow, and we're going to have a firing line of Soviet infantry. And this is a very dead leader. And Shaun is going to pick up the 10-14 flag. Only needs 2 more. It's these 2 points that are really draining the most from Shaun, and he just can't get past the Pak-38 and 50 and the Stug 3, which shouldn't be, I don't know, he needs some kind of, he has those 57mm cannons, maybe bring one of them up, but yeah, surely he needs to breach into the open here. It seems like he's bringing up something, the 45mm, good enough, just to get rid of that Stug, and then all that's left is the Pak-38, and without APCRs, they're not gonna penetrate against the Sherman tank. Not much really going on right now, although it seems like Gnef is going to make another push for the additional 15-9 point with his Ersatztruppen. Really wow, and an off map right on top of the commander. This could be very bad. Although it's in plain sight of the Shermans, it's surely going to get picked off here. Oh, it's not, because the Shermans are actually engaging the Ersatztruppen. I've noticed that the a substantial increase in the Ersatztruppen, and really showing that buff to the availability, really going a long way, as this replay is from the current patch. The commander gets a direct hit, but none of the no HP has gone down. We have 2 HP going down. I believe that was only the 170, was it? I think it was on 172mm. So not the biggest damage dealer there. But very close there. This could be potentially devastating for Shaun, though, if nothing else is going on. To the south, we're actually going to see a push from Gnef. Really, almost... he's going to be able to take this ridge here, and if this artillery strike hits its mark, you could see another ridge go down to Gnef. Although he has not taken anything from the forest here, we still haven't seen much from... Well, okay, we have one of the Tenko Teknikis here, but Shaun hasn't really used his forces here to launch any attacks onto the city here. Well, he has been trying to relieve pressure from the north here, so that's why, but looks like he is going to engage in an assault of the city here. But this could be diverted if he is all of his infantry go down here, as they look like they're going to go down anyways. Soviet infantry unload at just the right moment that the battle here could tip in favor of the Soviets if the MCHAs can be kept alive, but was that an MCHA that was shot down? No. Quite a lot of transports destroyed here. Looks like the pack gun really getting a lot of use there. This flank can still be preserved from Shaun if he can get that MCHA in a good firing position and protect it from the HS-129s. Although he doesn't have any fire support or firing, he doesn't have any fighter airplanes, and he doesn't have a lot of Zenart guns. These two Gavardia squads sent out in the open again. There is no IG-18, fortunately, but looks like they're getting fired upon from both the artillery and the Stug. And looks like Gnef is still going to retain this Erzschuppen. And the attack to the south gets interrupted by two Sturmjäger units. And this is not looking good for Shaun, as he only has 5 minutes left on the clock here. We have another Gavardia, some Gavardia squads, some Comratis, and more Gavardia. These look to be the Phase C cards of Gavardia for Shaun. And still no result from, or no investment into the center here from Shaun. And I think that's a bit of a, well, okay. Certainly he has enough to really preserve the line here. He doesn't really have to go, he doesn't really have to necessarily go for an offensive on the northern flank. If he can hold that line and put some units into the center here, he could stop the bleeding here. If not for this off map, he could still hold this line. But that could immediately change as soon as this off map comes in. It looks like the off map is only just going to pin down these units and not really deal too much damage, although it looks like Gnef was hoping for a chain of surrenders here. Good on Shaun for falling back early, but it looks like he was going to concede the point, and that's another... Oh, and here are two Zenart guns, so apparently he still has some more, as he has one down here. I believe he had one in the middle here. He must have had one from the beginning as well that was deployed. Maybe it was this one. But yeah, he really needs to have. You really need these Zenart guns earlier, and especially in the south, as or well, just in general, because these HS-129s are making mincemeat of the MCHAs here. As looks like we're going to see the HS-129s going up against these Shermans as well. One goes down, and transmission damaged on second, but a second one goes down, and a third one is going to go down as well. So 3 get picked off there, and potentially one HS-129 is going to go down, but that was a great chain of kills there. Is this HS-129 going to go down? Is really close to... there it goes. Okay. But for 180 points, not a bad trade-off there. So Shaun not really being able to use the focal point of his division in the form of the MCHAs because he has no anti-air coverage. Really not sure what he can do here, as he hasn't set up his deck to really combat those effectively. At least not without more 37 millimeters across the board. He has one every couple of, maybe like one every, on average, maybe 2 kilometers. We have 2 clumps up here, 2 clumps up there, but these are not, evidently not doing enough to deter the HS-129s. And Shaun is running out of time as it's starting to tip into the 1 minute time. What is this? What is this artillery squad doing here? It looks like a misclick. Probably it was depleted of ammunition, and the Gnef gave an order and it went on its own. That's going to get picked off. Very cheap kill. This Gavardi squad not going to be able to impact the... oh, but a good strike from the IL-4 at the very least. This point could go down. But Gnef with a good micro there. One Ursat's trooping squad goes down. One falling back. This battery refuel could potentially... oh, but we're at 0 seconds left, and a minor defeat for Shaun. If we go to the kill list, it was more or less even, actually. Some Partizani squad gets quite a number of Ursat's Truppen, plus the last artillery cannon. Not a lot of kills, though, from any Shermans here. So it really goes to show that those HS-129s really prevented Shaun from being able to use those effectively, even on the flanks, and not exposed to anti-tank guns or Stug 3s. It was just the fact that he'd had no response after his Lag 3s were shot down to the HS-129s. He could not respond, and certainly the 37 millimeters, he only had 6 of them, I believe, in his deck. Those will not be enough to really prevent those strikes from happening, as I think only one HS-129 went down the entire game. In fact, we could probably look, but one goes down actually to the Lag 3, and I believe another one went down to the 37 millimeter flak. In terms of losses, we see a Pack 50 probably from the south pick up quite a number of kills. We see a little bit more unit efficiency here from Gnef. The off map's getting quite a number of kills. So yeah, not much to be said other than Shaun has to he probably had to edit his deck in anticipation of seeing those HS-129s. Yeah, those HS-129s really really deadly to the Shermans, and that was pretty much the main difference here. The infantry play was pretty good from both sides, although Shaun was a little bit prone to clumping up his units a little bit too much. But I really like Gnef's usage of the infantry support gun on the ridges, the cheap artillery. So really great job on Gnef there. And I think that'll be it for this cast. Hopefully you guys liked it. I had to unfortunately record this a second time as I forgot to press the record button on the first attempt. So my voice is really worn out now, and I hope this was all worth it in the end. This is Metalphase signing out.